voice from heaven, saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. At the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly.
Foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful look out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful look, the believers, the listeners whom have came back, all right, to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. And what I want to get into today, all right, pretty much dealing with this channel. I think it's called is it Genie Guy, HHN. You know, I subscribe to it. You know, it's a pretty, you know, good little channel. You know, they put up quick little videos, you know, dealing with particular things that's going on. And what I found interesting is these two shorts. You know, I'm gonna play this, you know, and we're gonna get some precepts. But I found it interesting, you know, because as we understand the elites, all right, when we speak about the elites, these are the ruling banking families who have gotten control, you know, of governments, you know, by putting, all right, these governments in debt. You know, they give these governments, you know, these insane loans, all right, where the government can build up, you know, they can manage their infrastructure. They can build up their infrastructure, you know, the higher ups in the government get to pocket some money, and ultimately they sell out, all right, the people to the elites. And now the government become what? A worker, all right, for the elites, a servant to the elites to do their bidding and their purpose. All right, these appointed officials, you know, that people, all right, work for. Because when you get the scripture, but these appointed, so-called appointed officials that people work for, all right, don't work for the people. They work for the interests of the elites, whether they know or unknowingly know. All right, because everyone is taking orders, all right, from the from your top presidents and prime ministers on down to local officials. Everyone is taking order, basically, of the elite bankers. Now, when you go to Proverbs 22:7, and this is pretty much how they rule the earth. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. All right, so that's why they go through the earth lending, you know, these insane amounts of money to these governments with crazy interest that these governments, you know, can't pay back. And what do? They enslave the masses of the people. All right, the people, all right, become the collateral, you know, for these loans. So now the agenda of the elites is able to be forwarded through all these governments, because why? These governments are in debt, all right, to the elitists. And what? The borrower is serving to the lender. You see? So I'm gonna play this video and get some more into it.
If something that crosses your mind, but you don't say it out loud, because if you did, people would think you're crazy.
I have so many of these, but let's just go with my favorite one. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Sam. I have borderline personality disorder and ADHD, but I also have a degree in finance, so I help people with brains that work kind of like mine learn how to manage their money. A question I see on social media all the time is like, why in school did they teach us about the Pythagorean theorem, but they didn't teach us how to manage our finances? There's a reason for that. You see, the school system, as it functions today, was originally set up in response to the Industrial Revolution. You see, they had all these factories, and they needed people to work at them, but they were dealing with all of these people that had come from agrarian societies and were kind of used to doing their own thing. So they needed a way to teach people from a very young age how to show up somewhere in the morning, stay there all day without asking too many questions, leave in the evening, and then do it all again tomorrow. And teach them like the minimal skills that they need to function in a factory setting. And that's what they're still doing. And that's why you're not taught how to build wealth. Because the goal was to create workers that will continue to create more wealth for those at the top who are already wealthy.
Name something that crosses your mind.
So there you have it. All right. The school system was set up in response, all right, to the industrial boom. All right, where they needed workers, you know, to do what, man? To mass produce, all right, product, man, for the wealthy. Because even when you go into the Civil War, all right, and Jake think, that Abraham Lincoln was some type of hero for them, and they think that the North fought, because they felt sorry for the slaves and the treatment of the slaves in the South. No, it was the elites was all behind it. All right, the abolitionist movement, when you go into it, that was funded, all right, by Rothschild, and they wanted to abolish private owned slavery and make it corporate owned slaves. They needed people in those plants because where did Jake move to? All right, the one they called the Great Migrations. They moved to the cities that had all these industrial plants. You see, and the school system was set up to educate, all right, to train you pretty much with the basic skills that you need to know to work in the factory. All right, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. All right, you learn, as far as reading, being able to read. You see, a basic, understanding of reading and comprehension. You see, vocabulary, particular things. These things were set up. All right, the school system was set up to groom industrial slaves, man. All right, this devil is, hey, this man is deep in his wickedness, man. All right, because you look at it, the average work week, especially for a lot of these planting jobs, is what? Monday through Friday. You off on the weekend. The school week is what? Monday through Friday. All right, off on the weekend. And when you go to school, what do you usually go from 7 to about 3? It's pretty much an 8-hour day. When you go to school, it's pretty much an 8.5, hour day. The average work shift is about 8.5, 9 hours a day. And then what does it produce? When you have a household where the mother and the father works those shifts, all right, they're gonna produce more people with the same way of thinking. All right, so so they created, pretty much nothing but, all right, slave-minded people. You see, because there was a time when, like she said in the video, like people was used to doing their own thing because, the knowledge of farming and the knowledge, of the herbs, the knowledge of, livestock, building houses. See, that has been diminished to the point where you only have 1% of America's population, all right, that are active farmers. So out of 330, 40 million people, you have about 3 million people that are pretty much, full-time farmers. You see, when it used to be, all right, that was a common thing, and you would train your children, all right, on how to work the land, how to build houses. That knowledge was passed down. But see, through school, now it's about working for him, all right, working for the elites and their interests, man. All right, and pretty much, like I say, going back to the Civil War, Esau, he turned the whole earth, the elites, they turned the whole earth into one big plantation, man. All right, they turned the earth into a plantation. You see, and that's why this man has money, that can't even, be calculated, man. Now this is James 5:1. It says, Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Yeah, this man has gotten riches in a very corruptible way. He has dumbed down society, all right, to where people spend their whole life, serving his interests. No one's building generational wealth and passing it down, passing knowledge of being self-sufficient. No, he corrupted that and gave people a mindset to be what, man? Corporate slaves, man. No matter what level you're on, you can be a high value, you know, they got this whole thing about high value man. Well, that's still a corporate slave. He just has, you know, he just get more slave notes than the regular slaves, man. You see, he has a skill, you know, he just has turned himself to more of an asset, you know, to this whole system. All right. And it says, your gold and silver is canker, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. Yeah, the way this man has been able to just amass wealth, you know, by pretty much scheming the people and and just corrupting the mindset of the masses, man. This man has been able to just build up wealth, man. All right, 85% of the world's wealth goes to 1% of the population, those ruling elite banking families every year. So they have money that they will never ever be able to spend, but it's gonna be a witness against them. Like, you know, the things that they have built up, the riches that they have gotten over these centuries is gonna be a witness against them and their wickedness, man, because the way that they've gotten it. All right, and it says, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields. Going back to this man has turned the earth into a plantation, man. You know, all those corporations in China, you got Apple over there, Nike, those enrich the elite. China, you know, the upper echelon of the Chinese government, they get a cut on it, but ultimately that's enriching the elite. All right. This man, hey, everyone is reaping down his fields. The earth is his. The scriptures say the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he has everyone reaping his fields, man. You know, turning resources into wealth for him. All right, and the main people is who? Jake, man. All right, Jake is the main, all right, human resource that has enriched these elites. And it says, which of you is kept back by fraud? Yeah, because the way that they pay people, they pay you just enough so you can come back the next day. All right? It's not meant for you to get ahead. It's not meant for you to live comfortable. You know? It's meant for you to have just enough. And then the more you get, all right, what does he do? He enchants you with all these different lifestyles to where, all right, if you do earn, you know, if you are a high earning worker, you know, you want to live a certain lifestyle that pretty much keeps you having to continue working. You know? And it says, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them have reached, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Yeah, the Lord. You see, letting you know that these are the elect, because we're crying out, man. We hate this system, man. I hate having to be somewhere at a certain time every damn day, man. You know, you got to wake up at a certain time. You got to really shut it down at a certain time. You're living for the interests of another man. All right. And then he's the wicked. So the elect, they're crying out in these times, man, being under this man. You see, and it's the same thing that happened in ancient Egypt. All right, when you get Exodus chapter 6, Exodus 6 and 5, it says, and I have also heard the groaning of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians keep in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. All right, so the Lord has heard the groaning of the children of Israel. All right. The main source of human resource, because when you go to any city in America and you go to the downtown, the entertainment district, who's cooking, who's singing, who's serving in those districts, man? All right, it's Jake, man. All right, our people are the hands and feet of this society, man. These factory workers, these subdivisions, how these subdivisions keep popping up, man. All right, Issachar, man. Restaurants, who's doing all that, man? You might have an Edomite, it's a contractor that's over it, you see, but who's doing the labor? You know, that's enriching, all right, the ruling class elites, man. And it says, verse 6, it says, wherefore say unto the children of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And the Egyptians today will be all right, Esau, Edom, man. All right. These elites are the modern day pharaohs, man. And I will thy arm, Yahweh Shai, and with great judgment, see, come down hard on this whole infrastructure, man, through his son Yahweh Shai. All right, he finna obliterate this whole infrastructure, because now Esau Edom is talking about what, a fourth, a fourth industrial revolution. Now he wants to get inside you. Now he wants to even have more control. You see? So let's go back to James. All right. Verse 5, it says, "You have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton," which is undisciplined. "You have nourished your hearts, and as in the day of slaughter." Yeah, and they're able to live pleasure at the expense with the majority of the earth being impoverished. All right. They have this incredible, uncountable amounts of wealth. All right. And it's based on keeping everyone else impoverished, man. The masses impoverished, man. Verse 6 is that you have condemned and killed the just, all right, and he doth not resist you. Yeah, and that's speaking of Jake, because Jake doesn't have a mind frame to, be militant and go against, Esau, Edom. Jake just trying to make it, man, for the most part. But this man is constantly, putting these burdens, all right, on Israel, man. Because Israel's the one that's making this thing go, man. Those are the slaves. Those are his cream of the crop slaves. And he knows that, man. That's why ancient Pharaoh didn't want to let Jake go, man. That was his money source, man. All right? They able to live luxuries, all right, and pleasures based off what, man? The conditions that they keep, all right, our people in, man. And the masses as well. But the focus is on our people because we have a savior, man, that's going to do something about this situation, So let's I read I come back and read that, but I want to play this too. All right, this is someone who's wealthy. Now listen to this.
The rich don't work for money. And most people don't understand that because they've already been genetically programmed from parents and schools to go to school and get a job and work hard for money. Now, the harder you work for money, the poorer you get. The reason for that is money was designed to steal our wealth. I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing because it makes me richer. The economy is pretty bad in America, and they're rushing back to school. That'd be stupid. School teaches you nothing about money. There's fewer and fewer jobs, and taxes are higher. Why would you do that? If you save money, you're taxed. You work hard, you're taxed. And you put your money in a retirement plan, you're taxed. That's not that intelligent, but that's what they teach you in school. So, it's opposite.
Goddamn hokey doke, man. All right. This man is wicked as hell. All right. But this is where our hope lies, man. We know this system is not, established to stand. All right. And we're seeing it crumbling before our eyes. Now, this is James 5:7. It says, "Be patient, therefore, brethren." And this is speaking to the elect until the coming of the Lord. "Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth, and how long patience for it until he received the early and latter rain." Yeah, so just as, as a farmer, all right, a husbandman, he plants seed and he cultivate, the land, plant seed and, tends, to those seeds through watering and, pruning and, all these different things until it starts to bear fruit. Well, that's what we're doing in the spirit, as we labor, all right, in this work, all right, as we constantly cultivate, the minds of the elect. Pretty soon it's gonna yield fruit. All right, that's why John the Baptist, what he tells the scribes and Pharisees, bring fruit meet for repentance, man. And see, that's what's happening. The Lord, all right, is grooming, all right, Israelites for the world to come, So when their fruit gets to a certain point, what happens, man? Their fruit is gathered. All right. So we're getting to the point where we're being nourished by this word, and eventually, like, we're going to reach a point of ripeness, and we're going to be gathered, man. Lord will. And it says, "Be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord draweth nigh," man. Establish your minds, man. All right. Be locked in. We have to be fully persuaded in what we believe, man. All right. The hell with what we lose here, man. Like I say, there's nothing to lose, man. Look at this. All right. We should be, more than ready to detach completely from this system, man. And go and come into something that's way better. So Lord will, you brothers and you few sisters edified. Till next time, I say shalom.